me those questions. Put them in chat, or otherwise ask me those questions now. Yeah. Ayush, don't worry. We'll try and keep sessions before 8 o'clock. Okay. Today, if you want to leave now, you can leave. We'll share the recording with you. You can talk to me on the phone. No problem. So anybody else, any questions that you have till now? Otherwise, I can continue. Shashwat, models are basically you are writing in Python what you would have otherwise written in SQL to create tables. That's all. That's all that models are. Model is nothing else. Model is a way of writing in SQL, in Python, what you would have written otherwise in SQL to create your tables, your database tables, basically. Yeah, they are only for DB, nothing else. Nothing else is happening with models. Ritesh, no prerequisite. Like I told you, I will explain the Django part to you. If you can study the Django part good enough, otherwise it is all basic, this thing only, basic Python. You don't have to worry too much. Besides your pandas, numpy, and regex, nothing else you will require for this particular project. Don't have to worry. Okay, perfect. So if no other questions, I'll continue. Keep posting the questions in the chat. This chat unfortunately doesn't get recorded in the video, so you can't see them later on. But I will make sure that I'm answering all questions right now. Okay, we won't leave any questions pending. Okay, now the Django admin. See, admin is basically for some administration tasks, and it is a default this thing which is given. And like Shashwat was saying that what if we don't create models? If we don't create a model and then directly we have something in the table, we can't see it in the admin side. At least I have not done that till now. I'm sure there is some way of doing it, but I have not done it, so I don't know. Whenever a model gets created in Django, we can register that model on the admin site, and then we can see it in the admin login, so to say. So I'll show you the admin file, what it looks like, and I'll try and explain whatever I can. Okay, this one is something slightly, something weird I was trying. So I am trying to save something in the session data and all that. So this I will explain later on. But the usual structure is this. Okay, you admin site register, and this is your model name. These are your model names. So within the admin site, register this, and then you can end up seeing whatever data is there from an admin view. So I usually use this only for testing. I don't really know, what is the use of something like this in production. Okay, so that is what it is, right? So fine. Okay, the next thing after this is the admin. Okay, so you get to see something like this, a screen like this, and so this is simple stuff. There is nothing very okay. One thing you will have to do. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot. One thing everybody will have to do, that you will have to create a super user login at your end. Okay. So the super user that I create on my local machine and the super user that you create on your local machine is different. So sometimes, like I said, for testing, you might have to end up using Django's admin site. So for in that situation, you will have to create the super user. It's simple stuff, nothing very fancy. go to Python, go to that top folder where manage.py is. This command will always run in the folder, in the top folder where manage.py is. Okay. So go to Python, that folder, you run this command, Python manage.py, create super user, and it will ask you a couple of questions. What is the username, email address? You give it any email address, your Gmail or whatever. Password, it will ask you, okay, done, whatever. And then you remember this one. So this one and this password, you log in. And you log in, this is the initial default you'll get to see. Even if you don't have the blog, this thing app, these two things you'll get to see. Who are the users, what are the groups and all this. So like I said, this is authentication and authorization. In our case, the authentication and authorization is slightly different. So I'll explain all of that to you later on, no problem. Right now it could be slightly confusing, so I'll do that. And this is how you get to see some of the things within the model. So whatever you define in the model, if in the model you have defined a date time field, if in the model you have defined a text field, char field or whatever, that all those things you'll get to see over here. So this is almost like if you have used PHP myadmin or MySQL this thing. What is that? MySQL admin or whatever is there. So you get to see what is in your database from a GUI. Here you can use this as a GUI to see what is in your database. No big deal. Nothing very fancy over here. Yes, of course, in certain cases, like a static file is there, and unfortunately you need to debug something with a static file. Then you will get a URL over here. If you click on that URL and that static file pops up, means things are okay. The static file is not showing in your HTML template, means there is something wrong with your view or your template or something. So all those things to debug this admin site is a good thing. Otherwise, not of very much use in production. It's not recommended to use it much in production. So, okay, this is our Git and all this stuff. This we have already done. Okay. So over here, the git ignore and all is important. I have not done that. I need to create a git ignore and I need to do all of this. This I have not done till now. So this I have already shared with all of you today, and I think most of you are okay with creating the branch and doing those things. I think somebody had an issue that time. Shashwat, static files are, let me give you an example. Let's say there is some kind of JavaScript that needs to be run. Or there is something that is coming from a CDN or something. Let's take a very simple example of Bootstrap. There is something called Bootstrap that we use quite extensively for our front end. And Bootstrap is hosted on CDNs, which is basically the cloud hosting network that they have. If we use it from there, they don't really care. They say, okay, fine, you can include a URL from there and you can use it. But what will usually end up happening is that our application will become slow. So if we are hosting a web server, it is good to host all these static along with that web server. You might not there are different scenarios in which you want to serve it maybe from the same Django server or serve it from something on Heroku. Like Heroku and all have something called white noise and things like that. So to have your static along with you in place of coming from somewhere on the internet and serving it through maybe your Django, this thing, you can speed up things. At least internally, you can speed up things. So that is one thing. So that is the use of static. Then for your development part of it, when you're running it on your local machine, you should be able to run your Django app and Django project in such a way that the internet is not required. Okay, you disconnect from the internet, and your Django project should run on your local system. Then it's considered to be a good project. You've coded everything well, and you've done everything quite well. And then when you put something of that sort in production, that is optimized code. Otherwise, even I've done it sometime for testing, and people usually do it without knowing it. You should not put too many things on on the internet. So that's one reason to have a static folder and have static files and all of this. Besides that, you can Google it. So there is a lot of things. All of this is not really relevant. All these things don't necessarily matter to what we are doing. This is all because we are using Django, so we have to, do all of this. Okay, so this is all the Git stuff. You can read this later on. So like I said, so this is the default initially. After that, we'll add up ending, we'll end up adding some stuff over there. So yeah, that's all. That's all that is there to Django, and that's it. So any questions anybody has? Okay, Ayush, you are okay with this now. So what you basically need to do is you created your branch also. Okay. Now, how will that part of it work? Let me explain. And yeah, so this part of it. Okay, so most of you have already done this. Initialize the Git. You done the clone. Okay, that has come down on your local system. So when you see your Git status, it should not say, okay, it could say on master initially, but then you will change to your own dev branch which you have created. And on top with the asterisk, your dev branch should come. So like for me, it will be dev underscore Rohit underscore Dhanka. So if I see that on the asterisk, then I'm okay. And I need to code everything within that only. I need not this should be what I get to see, and I need to code everything within that, and I need to push also within that only. So once I've gone ahead and pushed my code from there, so okay, this of course is the git add, the git commit. So try and make this message very clear. Even if you don't, that's okay. Doesn't necessarily matter, because as long as you are pushing in your own branch, everybody is aware what is the task you are doing, what is it that you are pushing. So that is not such a big problem. But try and keep this as a intelligent message, so to say. Then after pushing your code, you create a new pull request. So you go here and on this green thing, create a new pull request. And once that is done, you compare it with develop. So this is very important. The branch that you're comparing with has to be developed. And till I think 3-4 days back, we were all comparing it with master. So that is not okay. So we need to ensure that we compare it with develop, and you create your pull request. Once your pull request is created, then you will get to see if there is any conflict or something which is happening with develop because of some reason. So then you can end up discussing with others as to why that conflict is happening or whatever is the situation, and resolve that conflict. Once that is done, uh, that's it. So let me now show you. So like this one I have given to Who is this? I've given this to Ayush only. Okay. So what Ayush needs to do is he will code a Python method within a pandas data frame to round off the values using seal and floor mode. So seal and floor mode are two modes to basically round off the numeric values. So within a pandas data frame, something which will come in the columns, there this function will get used. Now once this function is once this method is coded by Ayush, what he needs to do is he needs to do this in a Jupyter notebook. Okay. Don't do it on in a Python this thing .py file or something. Don't do that. Do it in a Jupyter notebook and then send that Jupyter notebook to me on WhatsApp. Now let me show you. Aviru. One second. Okay. So Aviroop has sent me this. Okay, IPython notebook, and along with the CSV file and all that. So I sent it again. No, sorry, he sent me a .py file, but I sent him a IPython notebook. The advantage with the .IPython notebook is that everybody gets to you get more freedom to experiment with your code. That is very, very important. Okay. So that is very, very important. Otherwise, if you just try and create a pull request with something that you have already done in the .py file, me or anybody who's reading it, we will have to review all of that on GitHub only. We don't want to do all that. Now what I'm saying is, please try and understand that. That is very, very important. We are all part of a team. Okay. Let's have our internal discussion as an internal discussion, and then go and post the final best possible code on GitHub, because tomorrow we will have to open source this or sell this code to somebody, or somebody else will read this code. It will not be amongst us 40-50 guys. It will go to other people also. So what other people should see is ki Ayush has made this code, and first time that he has submitted, it's a perfect code. Okay, that is what they should see. They should not see Ayush ka and Rohit ka some discussion is happening, change the code, do this, do that. All that is not required to be seen by rest of the world. Ayush, does that make sense? Ayush, are you there? Okay. Akash, you have understood. Everybody else understood? Rashri, Shashwat. Yeah, so because this is very, very critical for us. Shubham just joined the call, I think. Okay, this is very, very critical for us, that we guys need to see we are working as a team. What I will not say that our bad code. There is nothing called bad code, but our code which is not final should not go out in public. We have to work together to make that code final and perfect, and make it very, very good for people to see tomorrow and say, wow, wonderful, these guys have done an excellent job. Nobody, I'm not chasing any one of you for these tasks. The task is there, and let it be there for 1 week, 2 weeks. I'm not bothered. I'm not in such a big hurry. But when you come back to me with a task, with the final this thing which goes up in GitHub, it should be perfect. It should not, nobody should be able to point a finger at us and say it was not perfect. Before that, we'll spend time. We'll spend time on WhatsApp, on calls, or whatever we have to do. We'll do that. No problem. Okay. So similarly, okay. Now, when you guys go there, you are able to see. Now I've put everything over here. Okay, and I'll keep on adding this. So you will be able to see all issues, all kinds of issues you will be able to see here. Okay. And let's say there is something which is here to swap columns or something. It is in whose name? Abhishek's name. Okay. Or something is in Basil's name, or something is in my name. Okay. If any one of you can help out with this, if any one of you gets an idea saying, okay, let me do this, or if you see a issue which is not assigned to anyone, okay, like this issue is here, it is not assigned to anybody. If you think you can do it, you please volunteer for it. Absolutely no problem. This is not it's not a classroom, it is not college. I will not go around chasing all of you saying ki yaar boss please ye kar do wo kar do. If you know something, perfect, you just volunteer for it and start doing it. uh, Even if you don't know something, you just volunteer for it and then you ask my help. Rohit, I don't know how to do this, but I want to do this, can you help me understand how it will happen? I will help you. Okay. But I don't like people whom I have to chase. Chasing is not a good thing. We are all grown up. Max to max half an hour in a day, max to max 45 minutes in 2 days. That's all that you require. You don't require more than that time for these things. And anybody who thinks ki no Rohit, you have given me a task which is taking too much time, you just text me on WhatsApp and don't do it. Absolutely no problem. I am not going to force anybody. Okay, so these were the things that I wanted to discuss. Now, please go ahead and you can ask me any question. I have another 10-15 minutes, then I have a call with Udit. So absolutely anything is okay. Absolutely any question that anybody has, you can ask me. No problem. Okay, no. If no questions, then we can end the call. Shubham, Shashwat, Ritesh, and Ritesh, you don't have to worry if your connection is bad or anything is there. You just text me on WhatsApp. You don't have to worry too much that Rohit, my connection is bad. Okay. Uh, yeah. See, Ritesh, you go over this thing. What you call our Slack channel. Okay. You read through the Slack channel, you will understand everything. I've given a lot of detail over there. Let me. Can you guys see my screen? The Slack channel. Ritesh, you go through these, okay? DCP dashboards, Python backend reports. I have added you here. I'm sure you are here. If not, I'll just add you. 1 second. Yeah, you're already in this channel. You are already here, right? So you please keep reading through all of this. You read through it and then tell me, Rohit, I did not understand something. You will understand all of this. The simple stuff that I've written over here. This is what we are trying to do. This is what we are trying to make. All those details I have given there. Okay. So don't have to worry too much. I'll just come back to the chat 1 second. Ayush, you're talking about deadline? No, there's no deadline. I don't have any deadlines for anybody. If you can do it well in time, it's okay. If you don't do it well in time, then also it's okay. I don't believe in chasing people for anything. As long as you can understand what is happening and you can participate on your own, you can volunteer and participate, it's okay with me. I don't I'm not chasing you for anything, don't worry. Any other questions that we have? Okay, perfect. So if you don't have any questions, and see, whenever you guys download this code and you start reading through this code, um, don't immediately ask me questions. Over a period of time, maybe next 1 or 2 weeks, I will explain the entire thing to you, because you have to work on each and everything on this project. After maybe a month's time, there will not be a single person in this team who will not know each and every line of code. You will know each and every line of code, and you will understand why it was written this way, or what are the options, what we are trying to do. All of that understanding you will have. Don't worry too much about that right now. Okay, if something you can't understand. Perfect. So now we can end the call, and anything anybody needs which is urgent, which is something where you are stuck, you text me on WhatsApp. Okay. Slack I don't see that much. WhatsApp I'm always seeing WhatsApp. Don't have to worry. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.